You know what you should do? You should follow me on Twitter at Bromo018. Link in the description. Do it now. As my wishlist series for PES 2019 continues, it's time to switch our focus upon the game mode in this video. As of yet, we have covered Master League and new leagues for the Pro Evolution Soccer 2020 wishlist videos. Now, we move on to MyClub. The likes of MyClub and its FIFA equivalent in Ultimate Team have been very contentious issues in recent times, particularly for offline players like myself who feel that the focus on these online pay-to-win modes is taken away from the development of the likes of Master League and Career Mode. Despite the discontent amongst fans, though, it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't enjoy MyClub or online game modes as a whole. On the contrary, I personally don't mind the MyClub mode and have played at least a fair amount of it this season. Predominantly the MyClub co-op mode, which is one great idea that it has over its EA counterpart. With this in mind, there are plenty of elements that I believe need to be changed or added to the game mode in order to improve it and give more people the desire to play MyClub. For any of you that have watched any of my previous wishlist videos, you'll know that I usually like to structure them into sections and have each section lead on to the next one. However, I've sort of struggled to classify any of these into sections, so I'm just going to roll off improvements as we go along. So, without further ado, let's begin to discuss those potential new additions and improvements. There's really only one place where we can start off for this wish list, and that is the transfer system, or lack of one. In PES, Konami have replaced the idea of a transfer market with scouts and packs. The closest you can get to purchasing a player you want is to put in a bid for a scout that will possess one of his features, i.e. if you want to purchase Harry Kane, you'll have to buy a Tottenham Hotspur scout. But that isn't the end of it. You'll have to buy a scout that is 5 stars so that it's actually possible to pull a player with that high of a rating. It doesn't stop there though. It will then give you a lucky dip of Tottenham players to pull, so you'll have to return to the scout market and purchase an England nationality scout. However, there are still plenty of English players playing for Spurs. So what next? You return to purchase a striker scout. So you've had to go well out of your way just to be in with a chance of getting the player you want. God help you if there are 2 English strikers playing for Tottenham, because then you might not even get the Harry Kane that you are looking for. The purchasing of scouts isn't exactly an easy ride either. You have to submit a bid before the time runs out. If there are multiple bidders on the same item, then you'll all be entered into the second round when the bidding finishes, and then the highest bidder wins. It's a needlessly complicated process that I don't even bother with. Now, I think I know why Konami have employed a system like this. It's to tempt you to buy packs instead. It's obvious, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't quite do that for many players, myself included. If I can't go out and buy the specific players that I want, I just won't play. It's as simple as that. Therefore, it hinders the player's experience. What Konami needs to implement into this game mode as a replacement is a legitimate transfer system, just like what Ultimate Team has going for it. Now, I hate to use Ultimate Team as an example because I really can't stand that game mode, but that is exactly the example that Konami needs to set itself. It's a fully fledged working transfer system that allows players the freedom to create the exact team that they want to build with the players that they choose. MyClub severely limits you in this aspect and does a great job of putting you off playing full stop. Linking in with that transfer system is the duplicate system. Currently, as soon as you have 3 of the exact same cards, you can trade them in for 1 player of the exact same rarity. So if I trade in 3 86 rated black ball cards of the same player, then I will receive 1 black ball in return. This, for me, is essentially a method that just mugs you off. Because there is no transfer system, you can't sell them. The best you can do is convert them into an EXP trainer. But what worth is a few thousand EXP to train a player when you have a really high rated one that is just lying around? Should you only have 1 or 2 duplicates, then you're essentially screwed. And God help you if you have different versions of the same player, because they don't even count. Now, the addition of a transfer system would essentially fix this problem, but I think that what would be great is if we also had a trade system. People could put their players up on the trade pile and receive trade offers from other people, player for player. They could then view them and choose whether to accept or reject. It would be a great way to help people build their squads, but also to make it feel like a truly online experience where you can connect with other players and get that true feel of negotiating. Now, I'd like to discuss contracts. Does this hold the title for being the most pointless feature in the entire MyClub game mode? It quite possibly does. In FIFA Ultimate Team, these have been annoying enough, but in MyClub it hits a whole other level. The cost of contracts is quite frankly obscene. It might cost you 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 to renew the contract of a black ball player for just 10 games. You might not even make that sort of GP back in 3 games depending on your results. How on earth are you supposed to maintain your squad if you can't even afford to renew their contracts? Why are they so expensive? In fact, why are they in the game? I know that EA actually removed contracts from their Madden franchise Ultimate Team game mode for Madden 19. As a result, I believe it is very possible that they'll be removed from FIFA Ultimate Team for FIFA 20. And I feel that MyClub needs to follow suit. Contracts are also fairly hard to come across in game if you aren't buying them. And Konami do essentially shoot themselves in the foot here, because people could very well be spending those GP or MyClub coins on packs, but instead are having to use them to replenish contracts. Because I only play MyClub in moderation, I have found that I always have the funds because of how much I earn from offline achievements or from daily rewards, etc. But for anyone who actually plays the game mode very regularly, I don't know how you manage to maintain your squad without having to buy a load of MyClub coins with real money. If anyone who does play MyClub most of the time could tell me how they manage to continue it whilst having to spend a load on contracts without investing real money, I'd love to know what the secret is in the comment section. Now, I'd like to talk about club customization, a feature that is certainly very limited in terms of what you can do with it. You essentially pick a team and then you have their badge and kit as your clubhouse style, which seems like it's bypassing the whole idea of it being your club. It seems to lose its identity when you apply the style of another team. You're stuck with their crest, their kit, even their stadium. Unless you change, but then that's only to another team. What I'm trying to get at here is how I believe there really needs to be much more freedom in this area. Design your own crest and kit with a kit creator feature. Now, I know there may be some of you thinking that you can technically do this. You can use an online kit creator, download it with an option file onto the game, and replace a team's kit and crest with the one you have designed, and then choose that one for your MyClub. However, as far as I know, the changes only show for you, and not for the other people in your game lobby, whether that be an opponent or co-op member. Therefore, it just feels a bit limited, and like the job is only half done. In my opinion, a kit emblem and creator in the game mode would go a long way to giving fans a more rounded experience, and Konami could even make money off of it, to be fair. They could easily partner up with a few companies to make them sponsors to choose from when you're selecting one of your kits. It seems to make perfect sense to me. I feel like this wouldn't be much of a problem to implement into the game because they do already have the technology. It's just presenting it in a game mode form. Now we move on to co-op, and this is something that is really important for me, as it is for many people. Co-op is actually the only mode I really play on MyClub. The ability to play with my own custom team and merge it with my friend's custom team is something really cool, and certainly a feature that Konami should look to build on, especially considering that EA haven't touched this area with FIFA Ultimate Team. Despite its popularity though, I still feel that there are many improvements that could and should be made to this area. One being that the structure of the co-op competitions needs an overhaul. In particular, the ranking format. I'd personally prefer something that is more styled towards an actual divisions and season type game, where you have 10 games to reach a certain amount of points to avoid relegation and for promotion, etc. With each of those lines comes greater rewards. Currently, it is classed as a division, but you don't get much context along with that. You only really get a ranking number that will go up or down after every game, depending on if you win or lose. It doesn't really entice the player to keep playing, and doesn't really offer a decent set of rewards. Now they do have MyClub co-op competitions available, such as cup tournaments, but the ones worth playing are very few and far between, and only last for a short period of time. If you're looking for something more permanent, you have to do clan matches that I've just spoken about, so it really does need some work in that area. Another area of co-op that I would like to see changed is the random selection. What will happen is that your co-op team will be made up of an equal number of players from each person's team, but these will be randomly selected. Now, some people may like this feature, but I personally would prefer it if we had the choice to select which players we want to submit. I find it quite annoying when I've got a new player that I want to add to the co-op team, but for whatever reason he just doesn't get picked. This situation can certainly be avoided by simply making it possible for players to select who they want to be submitted to the co-op team. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with the suggestions that I've put forward so far, or do you disagree? As always, be sure to let me know in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to come back for part 2 of this MyClub PES 2020 wishlist, and if it's already out by the time you're watching this, then be sure to check it out after this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter using the Twitter handle @bromo018. The link for that is in the description. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more regular gaming content. On that note, I'm Bromo18, and I'll see you soon.